All right. It's Thursday, time for lulls. We got NFL DFS back. We can find out if Brian is grinding those preseason DFS streets. It's August. Best ball stuff is heating up. Got some other interesting DFS site related gossip news we can touch on. Just all the trappings of a classic lulls episode. Let's do it.
Does he think? I think he thinks this. He thinks this is a go. Vegas Dave thinks this is a go.
Hot naked girls doing yoga.
What?
Why don't you just win like a man?
Random.org. Type in 1 for yes, 2 for no, and let the DFS gods pick for you.
And I'm absolutely begging you not to dupe us. Please don't dupe us.
All right, guys. Thank you for putting up with our slight delay on today's episode. Normally 1:30. Had a busy morning, afternoon, been running around, but we are here. Brian, how are you doing today?
Good. I just thought of a classic thumbnail, Lowell's thumbnail. I got to show you this. Let me grab it here with my foot. Blender sent me.
Oh, you got your Lulz jersey.
Sent me this.
Awesome. There it is. The Bric that we're going to, I don't know, maybe on some other time or maybe just in the private of your own home, you're going to have to do a photo shoot for the.
That would go with this hat, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's perfect. Yeah. It's absolutely perfect.
People would be like, are you insane? Why are you wearing all that out in public?
You know what? Yeah, we should do a show where we both wear our Lulz jerseys. Yeah, I was excited because I listened to your pod with Blender. That was a couple of weeks ago, I think. And at the end of it, he mentioned that he was going to end up sending that to you. So I'm glad that officially happened.
I got it. Thank you, Blender.
Nick's wondering my jersey. Yeah, I threw on. This is my friends over at the No Dunks. So Skeets and Trey and Tass Mellis. They had a limited edition merch line. Obviously, aping on the old school Memphis Grizzlies style there. So it's hot out here in Mass, Brian. We're trying to stay cool.
Oh yeah, big country Reeves jersey.
Yeah.
Your tan looks much better though, Pete, with when you wear a tank than if you wear, a t-shirt like mine. It's just pure fire because I've been golfing a decent amount lately.
Yeah.
You can't tell it by this lighting, but actually I'm a little tan in real life. But you take this shirt off and it's pasty white.
Yeah, in the summer around here, Lauren actually is like, she started to get because if we take April out for a walk and it's hot, or if I go out for a run in the neighborhood, I just go shirtless because one, I sweat so much that wearing shirts is annoying, and two, you got to get that tan. But now Lauren is like, Pete, we're just taking April out for an afternoon walk. Can you just put a shirt on? I'm like, sorry, babe. My co-host might be complimenting me on my tan later. I need to keep my shirt off. Do you know what's actually funny thinking about that? So, I make a bunch of social clips and stuff for Fantasy Life. And so those go out on the Instagram and TikTok. And there's there's this one guy that gets really upset that I'm showing too much chest hair in all my videos. He always is commenting and tagging me can we get this guy a proper shirt? Why do I have to stare at his chest pubes every time I'm listening to his fantasy advice? But I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it.
In his defense, you have been known to show nipple occasionally, which might be crossing the line for some folks.
It is. I know. It's just I just want the fantasy goods. I don't need to be staring at your chest hair, which is honestly fair. It's just a matter of convenience for me. Travis Petty, I didn't even remember this, but Run Pure Sports is making a big announcement concurrent with us right now.
We should live stream it.
I literally think we should.
Is it going on now?
What time does that start?
What
time does that start? Let's see here. Run Pure Sports. They are live now. Breaking news.
Okay.
All-time DFS winner joins forces with Run Pure Sports. And our guess, wait, is it JBC? Is that the one who it is?
Pete had a great guess, and I agreed with him.
It looks like it's JBC.
It's got to be JBC.
Are you familiar with this guy?
That makes sense.
Okay. I thought it was Whistles, dude.
That's
I was
JBC. Okay.
Here was my thought process on it being Whistles. And it was that, hang on real quick. I want to see, so there's 113 people watching Run Pure Sports live. If we could end up getting more live viewers watching Run Pure Sports Live, then Run Pure Sports Live. That would be a real feather in my cap, personally, if we can make that happen.
It's gotta be. We got. I gotta retweet you. Did you tweet out yet?
I tagged you in the photo.
I've done okay. Hit a million, 150, different stuff like that. But long term,
can you hear that? Can you hear the audio now?
Yeah, just barely.
Like that.
I'll keep it light for a second here. But I first wanted to say, my guess was whistles, because it made everything added up to me. They did the filming the GOAT series together, him and Osmo, they all became pals, all became chummy together. Whistles, we knew, launched his site. Hadn't seen much from him, with the site. You had talked about that recently, like could use some marketing, oomph behind what he was trying to do. These guys are trying to backfill the shoes, of losing their guy Hoop. I thought it all added up, but are you familiar with JBC here, though?
Yeah, he's been crushing it, honestly. And no offense to JBC, but whenever I see someone who beats me, I'm always like, this guy's fucking beating me. This is the fucking guy. But yeah, he's been crushing it for like a year and a half, 2 years. Someone back me up in chat. But I didn't even think, after you mentioned whistles, I was like, it makes so much sense. That's got to be it. All the pieces are together, and whistles clearly wanted to do something, right? And like, why build up your own platform? It takes friggin' forever. And like that Osmo period that Osmo had when they played his name into a new site was just like perfect timing. And I don't think you can replicate that again.
Yeah. Thank you for the suggestion. Brandon wanted the Chiron on the bottom of the screen. So the audio listeners, it says breaking news, JBC about to run hella pure. How tilted are you, Brian, that not only have you lost to this guy in DFS, but he's wearing an NFL jersey. Something just fell in my office.
We don't need that.
But he's wearing an NFL jersey to really kind of rub it in your face.
Yeah, definitely a jersey bro. Based on his Twitter presence, big time, or X presence, big time jersey bro.
So what's your theory on this? Do you think the salary or whatever left in the void of Hoop was enough to bring in who's the other guy they just brought in?
Bryce
and JBC, or do you think they did a round of money raising? Like, how do you think they pulled this off?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you the same thing in anticipation of Whistles going. So if Whistles joined, I would almost guarantee he got like 10% rev share, 15% rev share, something like that. Probably no bonus or anything, just like a guaranteed, or maybe like 10% rev share with 10 or 5% equity if they sell. Some combination of that, and then this the rev share paid out monthly or something. That would have been my guess for Whistles. For JBC, I'm assuming it's not going to be as hard as it would have been to get Whistles. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Whistles got a real job and plenty of money. JBC's got plenty of money too, I'm assuming now. But I don't know. I feel he's like really active on Twitter, so maybe he would enjoy doing this type of content more too. So he costs less to get him. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I am slightly distracted because I now recognize JBC from his Twitter. Doesn't he have like a Guy Fieri avatar?
Something like that. I don't follow him.
I think, but it is so funny to me. Like, there are a lot of people in the DFS sphere that have what I would call edgy Twitter personas. Like, they suffer no fools, no bullshit, got a little bite to their tweet, and then they come on and they just look like the everyman dude. Like, this guy just looks like a nice family man,
right.
Could throw a few beers back with him at a family barbecue and have a nice small talk. But it's just so funny because everyone's so fucking aggro on their Twitter, and then you see him and you're like, oh no, you're just a lovable teddy bear.
So BC is what, like John Brian Christensen or something, probably.
Okay, yeah, here I did just find it. It is the Guy Fieri avatar. I did recognize that.
Yep.
But
yep.
Yeah, I do. One thing I will say, you got to give it to Big T, right? Because Big T has to be a hell of a recruiter, right? Like, going out and getting these guys, because if you think about it just from a a brand perspective, like what you're hitching your, I don't know, credibility to in the industry. Like it's been a bumpy, few months for Run Pure Sports, a lot of airing, like Public Laundry. It's not like the cleanest brand to be like, I am going to leave obscurity of just playing DFS, being behind the curtain, and then go join this company. It's a lot different than, the guys joining ETR, right? Those guys have like a squeaky clean reputation. It is just like Big T must be a hell of a wine and diner, dude. That's my take.
See, I kind of had a different. I thought, I don't want to insult anyone, but I thought they're mistakes. I don't know what the deals are, so you'd have to know the details.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was something like I was thinking about for whistles, I'm not sure these guys bring in at this point enough subs. Maybe it works better when you have a larger following already, kind of, and then this might push some people to sub to the site. But to me, it just seems unlikely. Like, how much would that have to be? Because, okay, so like we're assuming what, 1.5 million a year, right? Isn't that what we thought last time we did this?
Yeah.
So, why's my computer going so slow? The calculator won't pop up. But if you give, I can't do this without a calculator. That's how bad my math is. Okay. So 1.5 divided by what? 12 months, right? So what is that? 12,500 a month?
What do you,
or 125,000?
a little over 100,000 a month.
125,000, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite a bit of money.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
There's no way they're getting that in subs.
No, and that's why, do you think could it be more like, I mean, we talked about this a few weeks ago. I mean, you mentioned how a lot of the sims that are coming out are wiping out edges. We had the Utical interview over on ETR while he's transitioning out of playing. Are guys like JBC and Bric saying like, hey, DFS has been my thing. The well is starting to dry up. I can go cash some easy checks right now as my play kind of rides off into the sunset.
His Twitter presence and the frequency of which he's been placing high up would lead me to believe that that's not the case for him. And yeah, I don't know. Some of those guys who've been moving on and getting new gigs and stuff have been around for a long time, where I could see like after a decade, there's like, well, why wouldn't I? I'm just going to do this, play a little DFS.
Yeah.
Makes more sense. It could be, but he's also got that kind of bravasso,
Doshio.
Yeah, braggadocio, whatever it's called, where it doesn't seem like that's what he'd be going for. So so it's like 15% of that is 18,000 basically a month.
Yeah. That you got to divvy up.
No, that would be his 15% share of 1.5 million per month.
Oh, on the rev, yeah. Yeah,
and
but then
annual of 225.
But do you get that rev share off the rip, right? Because you did nothing to contribute to that rev share.
Yeah. How much was Hoop getting? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Was it 30%? I don't know, but that's at 15. So let's cut that in half. 7.5% rev share would be 112,000 roughly.
Yeah.
Per year. Yeah. That's probably more in the ballpark, somewhere around there, right?
I think so. Yeah. And it all depends too. We don't know what his deliverables are going to be, right? We don't know. It could all be determined on like, is it a fixed rate? Like, hey, we want you to do these shows, I assume he's going to do some back end projection type stuff for him. It probably all entails, because my guess is a guy like JBC isn't going to be out there with some affiliate code, being like, my money and compensation is tied to how many people click my Twitter link. My guess is they brought him in for like laying the foundation in the guardrails for like better DFS content.
Okay.
That would be my thought.
It's possible. I've never seen him like talk about making projections or being a stats guy or anything, but it's entirely possible. That doesn't mean you can't make your own projections.
Yeah.
He could also, just by looking at him, like maybe he will be their accountant, or he has some other skills they could use.
Yeah. I want to listen to his announcement. Let's listen, because this is on his Twitter post. Let's see what he said about it.
Hey guys, this is Mark. Probably know me better as JBC on DraftKings, Iggy Dash on FanDuel. Bit of an announcement. I'm joining Run Pure Sports. I've taken a seat on the board. This isn't some short-term agreement. I believe in Tony and his vision, and I believe what I can bring to it. I'm a winner. It's what I do. Done it for a living for a decade. I win. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. I've trained multiple other high-stakes players to be winners long-term, and I'll do it for the members of RPS. I'll make myself available on Discord, answer questions, host bets, do shows, the whole 9. I'll be on at 2 o'clock to answer any other questions you have. Let's get it.
We got to work on reading our notes while delivering our impassioned welcome speech there. Also, I'm getting some like young Newt Gingrich vibes from JBC right here. You see that a little bit?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Did he leave his dying wife for someone else too?
Oh, Jesus. I think the operative word in there was joining the board, right? Where it's like all of his deliverables sound like pretty classic, like content type things, but the joining the board definitely implies some kind of equity stake, and if not, the rev share portion for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's another option, is you give them 4% or 5%, and then 5 on the back end or whatever when you sell.
Yeah.
5 plus 5. So like for total of 10 or something.
Dude, look at these guys, man. They make the big announcement. No
and
more
they get right into it.
You just roll up your sleeves and you get right to the fucking core plays.
And you just give out the winners. Who cares about the Sim Wars? It's all over. They got JBC.
We don't give a shit about your vision. We don't care about your core values for the company. We don't care about doing, some icebreaker activities to let the Run Pure Sports community get to know you. No, let's get right to fucking Hideki Matsuyama, full fade with the 20% exposure.
You think Run Pure's thought about like having sex on screen, just like as they're giving their picks?
I certainly have, Brian. Got to get these clicks. Guys, we're so close to a flippening right now. We got 152 people watching Lulz. We got 157 watching Run Pure Sports. We got to flip them. Brian, any quibbles with this exposure here? Do you want to go through your projections relative to theirs?
What are their projections? Let's look. Okay, they got some ownership, and that's it, huh? What's the column on the far right?
The far right, that's a good one. Leverage, it looks like.
Okay.
Who's this question mark? Is that JBC? Oh, now they took it off.
They don't do projections. They do ownership and leverage.
Yeah.
Ownership's easy because you could just steal it and then just change it around a little bit.
Well, that's the thing. And I think they smartly got rid of the screen share because they know how this business works. Why would you buy the cow, Brian, if you can get the milk for free?
That's right. Actually, remind me of this promo code after the show, Pete.
So yeah, NFL 23 promo code 23% off for life. Why do you think the 23? Is that just like an homage to like MJ? He's the GOAT. I'm trying to figure out the 23 angle there.
Good question. They probably do have something there.
The year? Oh, it's probably the year. Is that why they're doing it?
They're not gonna change the site name and then get rid of my for life discount, are they?
I just think they're headed down a slippery slope. Run Pure Sports to me feels like a 100-year company. If they keep this bid up, it's going to be 2069 and it's going to be 69% off all packages. So I think they just need to be careful.
What do you think? Let's just say it's 5-5. So what is that? That's like $60K a year or something you're giving them plus 5% when you sell.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he's going to bring that in? Do you think he's going to do enough on the back end?
That's what I'm skeptical of. I think it is so hard and so competitive and saturated right now, and the ecosystem isn't readily growing in a way that I don't even know how you acquire new DFS customers right now without launching so ETR, right? They bring those guys in and they launch a new college football product.
Yeah.
It's a niche game. It's not that game has a huge audience, but you will have a loyal group of people who then say, I want to go to that site to get that information so I can play that game. That seems like one of the viable ways to grow your subs, but just adding a person to do all the other existing sports. And again, people like JGFC, they're respected, or JGFC is a guy who drafts with me on all my streams. These guys are respected, but it's a whole different ballgame being an influencer and actually converting people into clicks. You have to set aside some of your snarkiness. You're too cool for school. I've gone through this over the years. You have to sell. You have to sell to get people on. Big T's a good seller. Those guys were good at selling. I am curious if JBC can sell like that.
And if you, and this is, we're totally guessing here. Did we flip them? Is that what historical anomalies is saying?
We did 172 to 164. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
For watching us watch Run Pure Sports than there is watching Run Pure Sports.
Of ETR. Here's what I guess. Of course, I don't know. Who'd they get? They got Fear My Turtle and PSU, right?
fans. Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's like a package-based deal. And so I don't know what the package is. I'm guessing whatever, $150 or something. They get 100 of it, or maybe even more. And so however many they sell, that's their salary.
Yeah.
Maybe with a 1% of the company thrown on or something.
Yeah.
That's how I would guess that deal goes. I could be wrong. And so it's kind of a win-win, because then they get ETR's fan base, probably a guaranteed minimum, probably way more than RG was paying them, and less responsibilities since it's just football. Again, I'm guessing at all this. Where JBC, I think $60K in 10% when it sells is probably on the low end. I bet he wouldn't do it for that. I bet it's probably more than that.
Yeah. I do think, I think it's an interesting dynamic, because the model of you come in and we basically provide the resources and the infrastructure for you to sell your product. And we RG has done that over the years. They did it with those guys there. I think that Derek Carty, I think that's the kind of relationship he has with RG, where he's selling his stuff within that umbrella and they're getting a cut for it, but providing the hosting and all the tech type stuff. But with this kind of setup, I do think to me, it feels like more of a reputational ad. We want to associate our brand with this person, and we're not going to get our value back from him directly converting subs, but just by the overall reputation of the company and what they can do. And also, honestly, Brian, maybe it is just this guy wins a lot. We're a screenshot marketing company. Post your screenshots and say, come join Run Pure Sports. Maybe it's as simple as that. It's not the content. It's literally the screenshots.
Screenshot marketing. Well, he obviously thinks certain DFS players' Twitter followings are worth buying. We assume that he's tried to buy some others, not for him to use, but obviously to join the RPS team. So maybe you're right. I bet Cardi's a really good example. I think that's exactly how it works too for him. Who knows? Maybe we're wrong, but I bet he has a lot of leverage, and every year he probably gets a little more of the cut, because because if you get Cardi for your website, that's guaranteed subs. You're going to guarantee you get 1,000 subs or something. Who knows? I don't know what the number is, but if you sign, I don't want to say whistles, but even if you use whistles, how many people are going to sign up because you have whistles?
Right. And my thought is maybe
50?
in the DFS heyday, maybe that would be a lot more. I just don't think that exists now.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Definitely. Mark Levin's a bad example because he's controversial, but he's number one. I think he's number one on the RG board. The RG board doesn't have the same prestige as it did before, because RG was kind of the only game in town for so long. And also I think Stochastic is a bad example of what someone like Alex could do for you too, because they've got they got a big team, and they were like came around at a really good time to grow quickly, and they put in a lot of work, and it's not just because Alex was number 1 for 4 years or whatever, right? Like,
Yeah.
There's other reasons why they succeeded. Go ahead.
No, for sure. But I agree with you. And isn't that, illuminates even why they felt comfortable changing the name, right? Because Osimo, despite being one of the greatest DFS players of all time, like they were confident in their product and what they had built up that they didn't even need that name to convert subs anymore. Also, by the way, Brian, I want to say, I had this thought randomly the other day. The name Stochastic has grown on me in like a massive, massive way to where I think it's like an awesome name.
Okay.
Like now that I've had all this time to chew on it and it's been said aloud and it's kind of settled in, I'm like, it's a great fucking name. I've really come around on it.
I like it too. Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, and it's just a matter of time. The same thing will happen with X too. The same thing will happen with X. I'm telling you, you might not say it's awesome, but like eventually you don't, like, no one cares.
I will admit it was like a little bit jarring. And again, like doesn't affect my life. I'm still going to use the app in the exact same way, but it was jarring to see like on my phone home screen to have Twitter disappear and for it to say X. Like it was just this weird thing of like, oh yeah, devs can do that. You're allowed to do that.
Because I use it for sports updates, and I've almost X'd it out, I don't know, 100 times since it's changed, because it's a different tab and a different logo in the tab. I'm like, oh, this shouldn't be here. I need my update on who's playing baseball today.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we're holding strong here. 168 to 150. The Lulz watch party here. Did you notice, Brian? Because so they're using StreamYard on their stream and they could pull up questions. Did you see the guy who asked the question why he's wearing a Del Home jersey?
I did. I couldn't tell if that was us or them.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we should just merge our two chats. But yeah, I do think it's they're already calling it. Holy cow, that was a quick one there. Do you think when they scheduled that stream, because part of me, Brian, I know it's just natural human tendency. We all think of ourselves more than anyone else is thinking about us. Do you think, but the thought did cross my mind. Do you think they're trying to compete with Lulz when they threw up this announcement video at the same time, knowing we are the number 1 hotspot for DFS gossip?
I thought about this, and I thought it was because I knew what time he was releasing it. Somebody mentioned it in one of our chats or something.
Yeah.
And I thought it was he knew we would talk about it leading right into their show, and you had something to do, so we pushed the show half an hour back, and it ruined it.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. So then maybe they thought we were jockeying to overlap with them, which I promise I had to run multiple errands today, run Pure Sports. I was not trying to step on the big announcement.
Yeah, I think they were trying to use it like, late night TV, like a lead-in show.
Yeah.
To the main event.
I get why you got to generate interest, right? Like part of it is like making it seem like, do you think it is interesting to think about like the different ways, like ETR, they're rolling out their college football product versus Run Pure Sports. They did the marketing sell. They got our interest peaked. People were in the Discord trying to guess who it was going to be. I mean, I guess it like, yeah, how much pageantry does an announcement like that actually require? I guess is my question.
Yeah, he milked it. He's doing a solid job promoting his site,
yeah.
Right? Like we can't deny that.
Yeah.
And JBC, I'm looking here, it's got 3,000 Twitter followers.
Yeah.
3,400. So that's kind of low who cares how many Twitter followers you have? It doesn't have anything to do with DFS, but
yeah,
from Big T's perspective, I'm saying that's definitely a lot lower than somebody else he could have brought on.
I think we were both overthinking it as far as Bryce and JBC, as far as like what I don't think Run Pure Sports is looking to reinvent the wheel. They have been a screenshot marketing company. And how do you do that really well? You get more people who play high stakes and are proven winners who can churn out a consistent stream of provable winning screenshots. And like both Bryce and JBC have had lots of success over the years, lots of opportunities to post screenshots. Like the more I think about it, I think they were hired to post screenshots.
I think Bryce does his own projections. I could be wrong. Because wasn't the rumor always he fed into What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the rumor was that those guys were aggregating.
I always thought he fed EM2 his line, and then EM2 basically either played it or made a slight shift off of it.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe he doesn't make his own projections, but that would help. Something
Yeah.
like that too. I just always pictured in my head, it's like, okay, I'm Big T. I'm getting rid of Hoop. He's not doing anything. This is in his head. Now I got 30%. Like, what can you do with that? Well, you could keep it for yourself, or you could disperse it amongst the people who still work there. Like, why would you do that? They're already working there, like unless they're gonna leave. Or you can give it out, and so you could either give it out like 30% to one person, 15 to two. You know, I can't remember how much Hoop had. I'm just making up numbers here.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's kind of just how I figured he was gonna. How this works out is like if he had 20% left over, he's just like, let's get Bryce for 10 and somebody else for 10.
Yeah. But again, the thing that it then kind of goes back to your point of like to make it worth these guys' time, because even like both Bryce and JBC, and I don't follow those guys closely, but they don't strike me as aggressive, like screenshotters in the way, like they wouldn't do it unless they were incentivized to do it. And like, to me, it would feel like a chore. Like in the same way, Brian, like it would make you cringe if you had to post all your winning screenshots, right? Like your skin would like, you would want to crawl out of it if you had to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and then I have to do the Run Pure slogan after it and stuff. That would...
You like, there's probably not a number in the world. Like actually there probably is, Brian, but like it would have to be a lot to get you to do that, dude.
There's a number. Yeah. Or like, I have to say I'm proud of this lineup. Like that's a high number.
So my point is, like, I also like JBC and Bryce. They seem like they don't, like J-Mac's a cornball, right? Like he's kind of like a self-admitted cornball. Those guys don't strike me as cornballs. They strike me as guys who might actually have shame about doing that kind of marketing, who maybe behind closed doors might have even made fun of that kind of marketing. So it is fascinating to me that they would sign up, but what would make that all possible? Getting a pretty nice bag to do so.
There has to be a bag. I don't think either of those guys do it without a bag. I will just push back slightly. I agree with the Bryce analogy or characterization. JBC, he posts a lot. He screenshots a decent amount, I think, with a lot of like "fuck you," or this is, stuff like that. Or maybe a little less so than I think. And sometimes he posts a lot of times when he gets second or something and he gets screwed. Because that's a different kind of screenshot when you post your second or thirds after you get screwed. But my recollection is, since I don't follow him, that I do see his screenshots pop up enough. But I don't know, you're paying 60, 80K a year plus equity for screenshots. And maybe it's worth it. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I guess to put the flip side, because I'm being like really trying to put myself in their shoes, maybe there is an element for these guys to want to feel some sort of validation, right? Like, when you are a DFS tout, there is a constant feedback loop for better or worse. And there's validation that comes with being at a big DFS company. Like people will naturally think of you in higher regard if you are like a tout versus like in obscurity, you're just not getting the attention. You are not. And you can like, get a few ats and people being like, hey, Brian, nice win last night, or JBC, nice hit last night. But it's not the same dopamine drip that comes from people tailing you, saying thanks for the good picks, from getting that constant, stream. That I wonder if that was a bit intoxicating for those guys, of sitting on the sidelines for so long and being like, hey, I want to be in the trenches. I want some of the notoriety that comes from that.
Maybe. Yeah. Like this guy's got 30,000 Twitter followers. I should have 30,000 Twitter followers. Like he's not nearly as good as me.
Yeah.
That might be part of it. What about this idea? What about retention? So like if you are calling all your Run Pure Sports users like hand builder kind of, they obviously they like Big T or they wouldn't be there. So like what does Big T do? He gives out winners, he gives out picks, right? And so like if you add in JBC, Bryce, known winners, and then the users are less likely to leave. So they're like, I'm going to watch the show. You can't get on the show unless you pay the sub because it's private. And I get to see what these guys, and I just copy them and that's it. And you 2x the length of the subs service agreement or whatever.
Yeah. No, I think that's right. And I think the competitiveness of the DFS space, we talked about it with the Sim Wars, right? Like it is forcing everyone to step up their game. It was a dynamic I used to think about with the guy like the fantasy football counselor on Instagram. His entire business model is a churn and burn game. His advice is awful. It's so bad. So he is not going to retain customers. People aren't buying his 18-round draft guide every year. They're one and done. But because he has a new kind of like funnel for customer acquisition, the way he's really good at promoting himself on Instagram, I think he can churn and burn. I think it's too hard for DFS sites now to churn and burn. You have to retain a core customer base to keep the business going. I think hires like Bryce and JBC help them do that.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he's like, I'm at 1.5. Maybe we can get it up to 2. I'm probably not going to get it up to 10 million a year or whatever. Or maybe he thinks he can. I don't know. But like, this is a nice lifestyle I can maintain for the next 10 years or so. And I just get these guys who I know will keep our base at 1.5 million or 2 million or whatever a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's worth it. It depends on the numbers. I just don't think 60 is going to do it for those guys.
There has to be some big upside. There has to be. And we know, that they were talking about valuations, right? With the company. So maybe that's part of the carrot is like, hey, we are actually still looking at an exit strategy at some point to cash out our equity. And, you might be able to 20x, 30x your multiple here if you come along with the ride for us. There has to be some upside carrot.
And we know from, I don't know if it was someone told us privately, but that they're almost definitely not paying cash up front.
Right.
So you can't, there's not like, we'll give you 200K now plus 60K a year plus eight points when we sell or something like that. Like it's all rev share. I mean, I didn't, we should have listened a little more closely. I actually did want to hear what JBC sounded like in his voice, but did they say that there's going to be a JBC package? Cause that's another way they could have handled it, is like that ETR model. I'm calling it ETR model. I'm still guessing on how they're even doing their business, but
I haven't been in the Run Pure Sports store in a while, but I want to say that they're like just a single type of thing that they don't segment stuff by sports. Yeah, because I'm on it right now. Here, let me pull this
is
up.
there just like he gets paid in JBC shirt sales?
Run Pure. So they do have bets, DFS plus bets, DFS plus bets plus SaberSim, but they're not doing anything segmented by sport. So everyone's trying to sell the same set of core packages.
Yep. And so what's the reg? So 800 a year. So how many? Let's see if my calculator's working. Still not working. Let's do. I still think 60K is. Let's say 80K. Well, I mean, I guess that makes it easy. He's got, 100 subs.
Mm-hmm. It's still a lot. That's still a lot of people with only it. And I'm telling you, man, like think about his Twitter audience. His Twitter audience is primarily successful, proven DFS players, right? Like what is even the subsection of his Twitter reach to be able to convert that many users? Like it's hard to do.
It's true. Yeah. People have no idea who've never tried, but yeah, like even getting people to like your Twitter posts for free is hard.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question though, because this is like a thing that people ask, all of these guys, right? Well, if you're crushing at DFS, why would you tout? Why would you create this thing? Like when you create like your tools and your site and stuff like this, someone asking about the draft caddy here in the chat. Sorry, it can't be used in an app. You can't have apps on apps. Like where is that part of it for you? Is it fun to just kind of like spin up products that and just have that entrepreneurial mindset? Or is it like a specific strategy to be like, I want to mitigate some of the swings in my DFS play with a baseline level of income?
I think it's pretty complex, honestly. Like, I mean, anyone can rationalize any decision, with when there's when there's money to be made, people can rationalize their behavior in so many different ways.
Yeah.
You could also say like community, like he just, he wants to just what you mentioned earlier, like have people say, oh, thanks for that bet, and like people asking you, your status goes up. Status is a big part of human behavior, the reason we do things. So like there's all, and camaraderie of being in a DFS world with people he shares a similar worldview with or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all benefits as well. And but like him specifically, I never thought touts was a big deal at all, because I thought most of them were bad, and a lot of them are just, they're just going over projections and be like, oh, this value, here's the 3 highest values by position, I'll just talk about those 3, okay, end the show. So it's like anyone could sort by dollar per point projection.
Right.
But like if they're the kind of Travis Petty type who has some sort of edge from watching every game and however the hell else he does it, like you can't give that away. Like I bet Travis could give away like a big portion of his edge in an hour, just 1 hour long show, not an hour long show every day, much less,
Yeah.
So like if that really is your edge, yeah, I think that's kind of fucked up. They do partition their shows though, right? Like that you have to be behind the scenes, behind the paywall.
I think they have a blend of public and private shows.
They have a blend of public and private shows, but I imagine like the ones where he's giving out his supposed alpha would be on the private ones. So maybe he's not giving out to so many people. It's less likely he's going to compete against them. I don't know, but that's certainly one that's you have to like question, like, okay, I'm giving up all my edge. And then the other one would be is Sims, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Where you're just, I don't know, giving away the whole ball game. So there's like, but like normal touting, like I said, I think works way more simply, where it's just somebody's job and they just go over the projections provided to them. There's some obvious value and they talk about it and then pick their favorite contrarian plays, a couple of them. And then there you go. That's the show.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to the whole thing. Like I know a popular thing, if you ever checked out the mentions to a big hoop or a big tier hoop post, that you would constantly hear like a winning screenshot to be like, oh, love it when you guys win, but the subs don't. There was like always this element of, you should be sharing the subs winning as opposed to like yourself. Like it would be way more impressive if you were sharing the subs as opposed to being like, the implication being like, oh, you're kind of withholding your special sauce and you're winning and you're just doing vanilla grade content for them. That's what they're signing up for, but that's not actually what's helping people win. Again, I'm not saying that's what's happening, but those kind of replies pop up all the time when you do the screenshot marketing stuff.
Right. Yeah. I wonder if those reply guys like that are the ones who are likely to sign up here.
Right. I think so.
They're like, oh, now I get the secret chat room.
Well, think about it this way. If you can be emotionally manipulated by a screenshot post and just compelled to reply with strong emotions in any capacity, they already got you right where they want you.
Right.
It means you're also susceptible to being swinging your emotions in the other direction and subscribing.
Looks like we got a new listener here. Bonesaw doesn't know who Travis is.
Bonesaw should know who Travis Petty is. Bonesaw's he's an OG in the deposit kingdom here. It is Travis Petty. Travis has been on the show, and he likes to stir up the stuff here. And Neil says there's no Travis Petty types. There's only Travis Petty. That's so sweet, Neil.
Travis, what do you think? JBC, you think that's worth the money for them? He's always going to say yes. He never shit talks anyone except us.
Yeah. Yeah, what's going on here, Bullock? 188 people watching and only 4 likes.
Really?
Is that real? Let me go look and confirm this. Let me pull this up.
And we need to get JBC on this show.
We're up to 56. Hey, I got farmed by Bullock here, but yes, we could use more than 56 likes.
You got me.
Yeah. I would have believed it. Just all these people, Brian, they just show up and they take from us. We give them this sweet, sweet DFS gossip and they just gobble it up and they can't even bother to hit the like and subscribe on the way out.
They want to keep it to themselves. ETR.
Yeah.
We briefly touched on it earlier.
Yeah.
I like that move. They do, I can't remember who said it in the Lulz Discord, but describing ETR as the fiscally conservative but socially liberal DFS site is so funny.
Yeah.
Because it's like such a such a prudent move, because you want to do college football. It's only 1 day a week, basically. Actually, they play on Thursdays and some Fridays, but it's not as busy as like baseball or NBA. And then the two guys they hired, they're really good. I used RotoGrinders college numbers last few years.
Mm-hmm.
And I do pretty decent. And that's who they hired. So and then to do it, my guess is through that package deal with maybe a point or two on the back end.
Yeah.
Just another kind of smart, prudent move. Oh, they're up to 330. Jesus Christ. Levitan.
330 in season, 90 for the month, 30 for the week there for the college football pass.
JBC, here I come.
Brian, you want to have a bachelor style competition where you're deciding between JVC and this new ETR. You only have room for one more sub in your portfolio.
Yep, and they just got me. They got me over at RunPure. I need the numbers though, so can't do it.
I do think it is, one thing ETR and Adam and those guys always say, and I do think they practice what they preach of they don't want to cover anything just to cover it. Could they add an MLB product and probably sell subs and do a C+ version of the product? Probably not that hard for them to do, but they want to make sure that they're doing really high quality. And so in this case, it does mean bringing in experts to do it, right? Not just being oh, let's have our existing, NFL guys also spin this up on the side and we'll claim to be it. It's no, these guys are the niche college football, kingpins in the industry. So I do think it's a smart way to do that. And it probably does. It's probably a pretty clean deal to get done, right? The rev share portion, you're doing all the work. We provide the rails. Like you said, maybe there's a little equity on the back end. And then you also get these guys helping out with the preseason product. They're good at these kind of niche type games where there's information disparities and stuff. So there's probably other ancillary benefits to bringing in two guys like this as well. Just having them on your team.
Sure. Yeah. Because they're in the Discord too, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
What do you think their split is on 324.99?
So two guys, I would guess they're getting something 30% each. So 60% of the spread. Do you think that seems low or high? Because you got to make it worth it.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know enough about running a big site like this.
Because on the one hand, you'd be okay, why don't you just go make your own site? Anyone can create a website. We were joking about that with spinning up a new site too. But it then goes back to the marketing thing. ETR has a very good marketing arm. They built up their YouTube, their socials, their email lists. They can pour gasoline on this product. It would take them years to kind of build up the marketing arm to get probably the subs to make it worth their while.
Yeah.
On their own.
I mean, they could always say, well, we have all these costs associated with running this product, but really that's just Cody doing all the work. So they don't have to pay anyone else. There's no customers, just Cody handling all customer service, I'm assuming over there. I'm just kidding. I'm sure they actually have customer service people, but from a player's perspective, 60 still seems low, but then from a site's perspective, it seems maybe even a touch high. So I don't know. Maybe 60 is a good number, because I was thinking more like 70. But I imagine the site would want 50-50.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at what they're delivering, projections and projected ownership, I guarantee Leone's helping out with the projection, guardrails and the system and the inputs to help get that fed in and probably collaborating on that a little bit. Weekly live show, that's just them. DFS top plays, just them. News and updates via Discord, that's going to be just them. So from the site's perspective, it is not a huge lift as far as how much work it's requiring for them, but like it also has to be worth their while, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't want to add something that you're going to market and push if there's no upside in it for you. So like anything less than 30% or so would seem like, what are we doing with this? And then what you think about too is the pricing dynamics also kind of then show what is it worth to the creators? Because you see the golf thing, right? Wasn't the thing with Rufus, like that sub was like really high, right? Probably because Rufus was like, the only way this is worth it for me is if I'm getting this much money. And then on the flip side, it's like, well, we need our cut to make this worth it. And then all of a sudden the price gets elevated, so it's worth everyone's time.
I'm doing some math here, and I'm not sure if it's worth the time. So like 325 times 60%. Let's just go with your number. So it's 195 they split per sub. How many subs are they going to get?
For the college football product?
500?
I don't even know where. I don't have my finger on the pulse of like college football. I think
it's a lot smaller because a lot of states it's illegal.
Well, here's the thing about it though too, Brian, and why I think the 30% or even more is because a lot of what ETR is going to do is they're going to convert their current users who weren't considering playing college football into subs. They're saying, we trust how well you do all of these products. I've seen your XFL product. I saw what you did with golf. You guys do it so well. I like the personalities you assemble. I like how you package and distribute the information. Sounds like fun. Sign me up for it. I know the exact experience I'm getting because you have a proven track record of delivering that for me. So I think my guess is they convert more of their existing subs for other sports into college football subs than they do bringing in new subs who are only there for college football, which does really tilt the scales into the site having more leverage than I think is on the surface.
Okay, fair enough. But let's just make a number up just so we could see. Like, let's say, I mean, do you think my numbers were insane? Do you think 500 is way too many or too little?
500 seems high.
Yeah.
I think I would somewhere from 150 to 300.
Let's just do 300.
Mm-hmm.
Just okay. So let's say 60% they're getting 195 times 300 subs is 58.5. So 58 grand. So somewhere between like 55, 60 grand split two ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not JBC money we're talking here. But then they, do they get points in the background? Because 1 or 2 points of ETR is worth probably quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's definitely, it's interesting to think of the calculus. And also to circle back to Travis, he said, Bric, to your point earlier, I definitely could teach a lot of my edge in an hour. Probably. You're absolutely right. Even
which is why he can't do shows like that.
No. You have to be able to just bullshit about players and, whatever. I mean, Travis could do shows and talk about rotations and what he's seeing. And I think it would be very valuable information and also not fully give away the secret sauce to how he assembles lineups.
Sure. Fair enough. I was saying like signing someone for hundreds of thousands of dollars to provide content to your subs. You would expect him to do that though,
which is then becomes a really funny thing. Right. And it goes back to what are people actually signing up for when they, get these sites, No Bosock says ETR nails the community aspect, Discord, etc. If you were to tell someone, okay, what do we say it was $1,500 for the whole year? What would you rather have? Pay $1,500 for a 1-hour call with Travis Petty and he spills his secret sauce.
Yeah.
You get to ask him any questions. Or you get the full run pure sub, or put it at any of your favorite site sub. You get that for a full year. So you're getting the content, you're getting the shows, you're getting the Discord, you're getting all of that stuff. I think a lot of people would still take the latter because that community element, the entertainment aspect is a huge part of
it. You're right. And they're dumb because first of all, Travis isn't going to do that $1,500 phone call.
No, I know it's a hypothetical.
So if you could get him to do it, then you just spend the other money. You just, I guess if you only have $1,500 to your name, then you probably shouldn't be doing anything like you. Yeah, it's true. Who knows? Maybe. Because like maybe he'd tell me something like, "That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard, Travis. I want my $1,500 back." How do you win?
But it goes. I think it's a good illustration of what you're actually getting for, because a lot of people might say they want the answers to the test, but that might not actually be true. They want the steady drip of entertainment, of thinking about it as something that they can do as like a true pastime and a hobby. And having that rapport and camaraderie is like a big part of it.
Yeah. And again, retention probably means quite a bit to him. Like when his going through that divorce with Hoop, and like, who knows, maybe he's like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to start all over, who knows? And maybe it scared him a little bit, and he's like, let's just get things steady here. Get some guys who I know are winners, who can provide content and keep what I have here for a long time. I just don't. He said it. He also tweeted multiple times there was a long negotiation. So that makes me think it was much more than 60 grand. And then if it was, that's a lot of subs. A lot.
I think it goes back to the retention, and you got to spend money to make money, and trying to keep up with the Joneses and taking more of a long-term angle on it. And also, Brian, think about this. If you're going and you're shopping around your company to potential investors, and I still don't even understand like the exact market of like who would be incentivized to buy a DFS site and like how they could really leverage that in a big way. Like even thinking like Barstool, right? They would like thematically line up well with Run Pure Sports. Like, what, could Barstool take like Run Pure Sports to the moon, make it that's their DFS content arm? Maybe. So maybe something like that. But my point was, if you are going through the paperwork and looking through the Excel columns on the revenue and all of this stuff, it can start to feel a little House of Cardsy if you're just doing content, some shows, a Discord. It might be like, what exactly are we paying for here? So I do wonder if bringing in some of those guys, and I still don't understand what they're necessarily doing on the back end, but you're basically trying to like buttress like what you do for a potential investor, right? Like we got more meat on the bone than just a YouTube channel and a Discord.
Yeah, that's a good point. To me, it doesn't seem like a long-term move. Maybe I'm not seeing the angles. But to me, it seems like a short-term retention move more than a long-term get Barstool or whoever to buy me.
Because you are, in a sense, you're rallying the troops, right? Hey, we lost Hoop. We're not resting on our laurels. We're not phoning this in. No, we're actually getting better. We're bringing on the best and the brightest. We're still assembling our team. That's a pretty good rallying cry from a retention perspective. He might not bring in a ton of new people, but the troops are feeling invigorated.
Right. Yep. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. After the breakup, maybe he was getting more slack than he was used to from his following, and he's rallying the troops. Good point.
Brian, I always have to pay off a title. I did say DFS, NFL DFS returns tonight. Will you be in the preseason streets here?
Oh God. If somebody would make the lineups for me and give them to me, I would press enter.
Okay.
You have to pay attention to the preseason.
You're worried about getting outworked by the guys grinding their cocks off.
They're gonna outwork me. It's the opposite of how I play DFS. So like, and I'm not in a DGen mood tonight. No promises. I might, in one of these. Although now I have to spend $330 at ETR college football. I might have to save that. Preseason
You're gonna make some top ramen for dinner tonight, and try to save up for that stuff.
College football is, I think it's only like 20 some days away. When's September 1st? When's the first NFL weekend?
September 7th is, or the Thursday kickoff is September 7th, and then the first Sunday is the 10th.
Okay, coming up quick, man. I gotta get my best ball lineups in. DraftKings. You don't know this, Pete, but they redid all their HTML in the background. So our entire app broke, the whole thing.
Seriously?
Yeah. So like the last week and a half, we've been redoing it, almost done, but got to get that a little bit tighter, and then auto draft, baby.
There you go. Brian's ready to blast it in with the robots down the home stretch here for best ball. All right, guys. Fun show today. Thank you for helping us accomplish the most important flippening until Ethereum flips Bitcoin. And that is, of course, Bulls watching Run Pure Sports versus just Run Pure Sports. Brian, anything else here on your end other than the Draft Caddy updates?
No, Draft Caddy updates. We're adding stuff to it. But I'll wait till they're ready to announce them. I got MMA projections and ownership on my site for free Saturday if anyone wants them.
Nice. My stuff got 2 shows tonight. Got the randomizer draft with Kendall Valenzuela from Fantasy Life, my co-host on Sirius XM. Then I'm doing a best ball after dark right after that with Jacob Sanderson. We'll talk some shop, have a few beers. And then tomorrow I'm heading out to going to New York for the day. Going to be hosting an Underdog Cardio Club live event. Going to be on the bike, barking out orders while we draft a team. Should be a funny, sweaty mess
Cool.
there. And then I'll be back next week, Brian.
All right.
All right, guys. Good luck in your preseason DFS. Yes, Mathology, get those double Ds in your showdown lineups. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate you all. This is Lulz. We're here every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, except today, which was 2 p.m. Eastern. And it's nice to know, Brian, if we don't have anything to talk about, we can just make an incredible thumbnail. Shout out to Chris for that one, and watch someone else's content. Like at the end of the day, that is the bar we have to clear to make content.
Yeah, with the minimal effort. Done.
All right, see you guys.